Hello everybody, welcome to the Stepping Stone 2 podcast. Today we're looking at the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Not actually at it, because it's not in the room, or we hope it's not in the room anyway. And I think we know what it looks like. It looks like one of those satellite things, doesn't it?
Yeah, like a bubble with all these funny things off it, yeah.
It's actually quite pretty, isn't it, really? But it's killing people, which isn't pretty. So, today we're going to put in place some protocol. The NHS, which we'll read out, won't we?
Yeah.
At some point. We're going to look at how we can manage it in our session, and also how people, when they go back to the homes, how they can manage it. Yeah? I'll just ask Gary now if he's got anything in place back at his home, and he reckons that he hasn't. So, you know, we would definitely recommend that anybody that hasn't got that in place gets it in place fairly quickly, if not right away.
Yeah.
We're going to be asking people what they know about the virus, what it is, and the risks attached to it, but more importantly what you can do to avoid catching it, but also avoid spreading it to other people. Yeah? And we'll start with Trey. What do you know about the coronavirus, Trey?
The coronavirus, from what I can gather or what I've seen so far, is a virus, a new virus. There's no vaccine for it. It's very contagious. And it's spread by coughing and by touch, and also by touching anything that anybody else has touched. Any hard surface, any materials. It can last for up to 48 hours, I believe, on surfaces. It causes fever. You might get a bit of a runny nose and a cough and slight breathing difficulties if you get it mild. If you don't get it mild, you get pneumonia. And that's what I know.
Killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it tends not to have any age discrimination.
Young people, the kids are not as affected. It's older people that are getting affected more than the young ones.
But everybody can get it.
But anybody can get it, yeah. And also children are big spreaders because of being in school and, you know, the hygiene and stuff. Yeah, they're big spreaders.
Thank you, Trey. Nigel, what's your knowledge of the coronavirus?
People catching it and making them poorly, making people very ill.
And what are your thoughts about yourself catching it? Have you considered that?
See it?
So have you considered that?
Yeah, I've looked at it and seen it and took the precautions, yeah.
So when you've been out, say on the bus or in the supermarket where you pushed a trolley, do you come back in and automatically wash your hands?
Yeah, I do.
Before you do anything?
Yeah, I do. I always go to the bathroom first before, as soon as I get in bathroom.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll come on to that later on anyway, but it's important. Lucy, you live with Mum, and I think, is Bernie up here now, or has she got somewhere else where she lives? I wasn't sure about that situation.
She's moved up here now.
Because she moved from Bedford, didn't she? Yeah. So she actually with you in the bungalow?
No, is she? She moved into the bungalow with you and your mum?
No, you've lived in your own place.
Yeah, I thought...
But she stops with you sometimes, does she?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, has your household, because obviously Mum is quite old and frail, isn't she?
Yeah,
although she's made of good stuff, because she's 90 what now?
91 in 92 would be for April.
Yeah, and still got her marbles.
Yeah.
You know, it's how I get to that point. Mind you, some of my marbles have gone missing. And I'm not as old. So, have you discussed the coronavirus in your family, Lucy? Are you aware of it?
No.
Have you not seen it on the TV?
Seen on the TV though.
So what do you do to protect yourself and other people then? Do you do anything? Since you've heard about it and you know the risks, what do you do to protect yourself and others? Don't worry if you don't do anything, because a lot of people don't.
No.
No? Okay, thanks Lucy. Gary? So,
I wash my hands.
Yeah, but the first question is, what's your awareness of the coronavirus?
I don't like it.
You don't like? I don't think the coronavirus likes anybody.
No,
It's obviously got issues.
I think it likes everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wants to be with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, it must have some kind of issues because he's going around killing people.
Oh, no.
I mean, if people go around killing people, they get locked up or executed, don't they? In America, they do anyway.
Yep.
What's going to happen with the virus?
Oh,
It's just going to get off with it, isn't it?
It's
Wrong. Sorry, Gary. So, yeah, tell me what you do to protect yourself and others in relation to the coronavirus.
I wash my hands. Yep. I wipe surfaces down.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What about other people around you? Are you aware of what they do? Or
I don't think
do?
much about it, I'm aware of it, yeah.
But you're going to become more aware today, Gary,
Oh, yeah.
and then you can take that back to where you live.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't mean start dictating to people, but people have to take their own responsibility as well
Oh, yeah.
to ensure that you're safe.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so if you're doing everything right and they aren't,
Oh, yeah.
then they're putting you at greater risk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I personally, thanks, Gary. I personally do all the things that you should do.
Yeah.
I think I always have done, especially when you work in community environments and where you have lots of people in one room. You're very aware of people snottering and sniffing and coughing and things. So I always, like you said, Gary, I make sure tops are wiped down.
Oh, yeah.
The door handles, the telephone, I always wipe down with antibacterial. If I come out of a public toilet, I'll make sure I carry antiseptic wipes with me.
Oh, yeah.
Because as I mentioned to you earlier there, the toilet door handles.
Yeah.
If someone hasn't washed their hands at the bit of the toilet, then you're going to touch what they've spread, basically. So we're going to come on to the things that we can do as individuals, but also in this room, in this building.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not aware of any protocol to do with this building because there's no signs up, never been approached,
No.
so we pretty much will have to do it ourselves. So we'll start with Lucy. I'm going to stagger it now. What do you think, Lucy, people can do in order to protect themselves from the virus, but also protect other people so you don't spread it? What kind of things can you do to keep yourself safe and other people?
I don't know.
You mentioned one earlier.
Yeah. Hands.
Wash your hands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? And do you just quickly wash them or do you wash them properly? Because most people don't wash their hands properly. I had one chap say to me, oh, it's alright because when you put them under the hand dryer that will kill all the germs. Right, okay.
No.
So there's germs being blown out of the hand dryer. How does that
yeah.
work? So you're not sure then, Lucy?
No.
That's okay because we're going to hopefully have people who do know. And we've got the NHS list behind me. Oh no, it isn't. Nigel,
No, it isn't.
how can you? What can you do? What can you put in place? I mean, you mentioned some earlier to protect yourself and other people. What kinds of things can you do in relation to the virus?
I'm trying to.
If you're not sure, just say.
Just make sure you keep your hands clean and stuff, and make sure that you use tissues when you cough and sneeze and stuff like that.
So in relation to and I think, and it might not be the case because I don't know what I haven't read the latest guidelines, but people quite often cough into their hands,
Oh, yeah.
and of course the hands will then touch other things if you don't wash them.
Hmm.
Now, years ago, I remember, well, I was told this years ago anyway, it was advised if you're gonna and you can't stop it to cough or sneeze into your elbow area.
Yes, it doesn't.
Because you're not likely to use your elbow on your face, on a door handle,
Yeah.
on your kettle or whatever else. Now I don't know if that's still the case. Is it still the case?
Well, the site doesn't mention that. It just mentioned tissues. However, on the news, it has mentioned that to cough into your elbow, also not to be shaking hands. Just kind of like not to be
Well,
touching.
elbow bumping.
Yeah. Or just like doing this. Just,
You know, it stops the spread. Then
Yeah.
So you mentioned handkerchiefs, Nigel.
Yeah.
And I know years ago it was said that handkerchiefs caused more problems than they actually stopped, because your handkerchief, once you've coughed into it or sneezed into it or wiped your nose with the mucus on, it stays there on the handkerchief and you then put it into your pocket
You do, yeah.
You put your hand in your pocket and you touch it again and it's on your hands and then you move on to something else. So disposable tissues were brought in order to eradicate the chances of that spreading. Now, when you've used the handkerchief, what do you do with it right away? The tissue.
I put it in the trash can.
Yeah. How many people don't do that? They'll use the tissue and they'll put it back in the pocket or up the sleeve or in the coat pocket. Now, at the moment, because things are so bad, I tend to sometimes use the tissue maybe more than once, but at the moment, because of the way things are, you're far better only using it once than disposing of it. Yeah?
Ah, yeah.
Lucy, do you use tissues more than once?
A couple of times.
A couple of times. So if you've got the virus, and we are assuming you've got the virus, and you sneeze into the handkerchief, the tissue, and you put it back in your pocket, what are you doing?
Put in the bin.
Well, yeah, you do put it in the bin, yeah, but what are you doing when you don't dispose of the tissue?
Carrying it, yeah.
You're carrying it,
Yeah.
yeah?
Carrying it, yeah.
And you put your hand in, and you maybe touch the strut on the bus, or the seat in front of you. Person in front of you touches the seat, and so it goes on. Now, a lot of people say, oh no, it's knee-jerk this, it's too over the top, and people are getting too... Well, actually, no, they aren't, because it's been proven that most pandemics have been eradicated or kept down through that kind of vigilance.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. Is if you use your tissue, only use it once. All right. I mean, I know you're going to go through more tissues, but it's going to stop it spreading faster.
Yeah.
Anything else, Nigel?
Can't think.
What about when you travel on the buses? What are you exposed to on the buses?
All sorts.
What, licorice or
Yeah, licorice, yeah. Just about everything, aren't you?
It's almost like a travelling bug vehicle.
Yeah, it's pretty virus flying, isn't it? It's
Yeah, it is, yeah.
alive.
You've got no say in who's travelled on the bus earlier, have you?
No.
That person could be carrying it, they've touched the seat, they've touched the strut, the bell, I could go on.
Yeah.
I've even seen people eating on the bus and rubbing their hands on the seats when they're finished, and those seats are fabric,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
When
I've
they
seen people blowing their nose and throwing it on the floor. The tissue.
Anybody else aware of that with travel on the buses? Gary, you used to travel on buses, didn't you?
Ah, yeah.
Were you aware of people's poor hygiene, or did you not notice too much?
I didn't notice.
But you noticed where people touched and things,
Yeah.
didn't you, on the bus?
Yeah.
Which areas did people touch on the bus? Or buses? What things would their hands touch on the bus?
The seats.
The seats?
Yeah.
Where else? How would they let them know that they were going to stop, to want you to get out the next stop?
Press the buzzer.
Yeah? Fingers on?
Yeah.
You've seen people doing that when they've been on the bus, picking the nose, and then because you don't know what you're touching, do you?
Oh, no.
I mean, a supermarket trolley, yeah, I mean, it's been proven this. Someone did a thing that took what do they call it? Like an infrared thing where they look at all the bacteria.
Yeah.
Riddled with bacteria.
Oh, well.
Because, if you come out of the supermarket and you get in your car, your steering wheel's got it on.
Yeah.
And it's, again, you can't afford to be blasé about that, because you could be going to the supermarket, someone's got it and they don't know they've got it, then you're going to get the supermarket trolley and you've got it next.
Yeah.
You rub your nose and there you go. Tray. What kind of protocol, we are going to read this out, thanks Gary, we are going to read this out later. What kind of protocol would you put in place for a group of people meeting in a community building?
Well, trying to have, obviously have tissues available. When people turn up, if at all possible, to wash their hands when they turn up.
When, and this is crucial, when should people's hands be washed?
Well, if you're in a community...
Before food.
Before food?
Yeah,
Yeah.
before food. But as soon as you turn up into a community building,
Yeah.
you're exposed to everything that's being touched by other people. So that exposure is from the front door to every door you touch and every handle you touch and every stair rail you touch. Between the front door and this room.
Yeah, I noticed the front door here is quite kind of, it's got quite a lot of residue on it. And I was reluctant to push it. It was the first thing I thought. As soon as I got to the door, I thought, ooh, when I pushed it with my arm to get in, because otherwise my hand would have been on it, and then I'm carrying that back up here. Now, there are ways you would introduce things to help with that, and obviously that responsibility is on the actual venue, but we haven't got any say over that. Is to ensure that the cleaner, the people who clean, make sure that those areas are kept clean. Now, if you notice in the supermarket, what's the regular timetable in the supermarket for the public toilets? Anybody notice that, where there's or there should be anywhere, a board, like a graph, of when it should be cleaned? Have you noticed that in supermarkets?
Sometimes you see, I haven't seen one in Tesco's for a while, though.
That's because people are blasé about it.
Yeah.
They don't clean toilets here, do they?
No, in the old days, it was you probably saw it. Well, I'm going back older days. It was almost regimental, the cleaning of a toilet, because that is a harbour for germs, you know. So supermarket toilets had it used to be an old, like a blackboard type thing, but they've now got them inside, what they call, like a notice board thing.
Yeah.
And the cleaner's supposed to tick it off when they've cleaned it. And they go in there, they use that antibacterial, they clean everything, so that when you go in the toilet next, it's not, you know, as bad as it was before. I've been in loads of supermarket toilets now, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any routine, I've noticed.
I've even seen me put toilet paper on the toilet seat because I don't want to share it with somebody else's.
I use toilet paper to open the doors. And then get rid of the toilet.
Yeah, I mean, you could say, oh, well, that's just being far too pernickety, but it isn't. Not as a virus going around. So, right, hand washing. Let's go back to that again.
Well, hand washing, if you can hand wash again in the room, if not, to use hand wipes and thoroughly wipe your hands, if at all possible, if you've got the sanitary gel. And that's when you get into the room.
Yeah, I would definitely advise that once you're in the building, that if you get a chance before you get in, wash your hands, or wash them in the room when you get in. Carry some hand sanitizer with you, yeah? And carry some antibacterial wipes. Now, I don't mean the ones with bleach in that you use for worktops and that. I use tea tree oil.
Yeah.
Tea tree oil is a well-known antibacterial, and that keeps down the bacteria on your hands. Yeah, you're never going to totally eradicate bacteria, but you can keep it down to a bare minimum.
Yeah.
So I definitely recommend that you carry some hand sanitizer and a packet of antibacterial wipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not the ones with bleach in. You'll end up with the virus and stripped hands. Trey?
The ones with bleaching for services, when you're in the room, to clean, we're using those cleaning wipes.
Yeah, the ones with bleaching.
With bleaching for all the surfaces other people are going to be touching. Door handles, switches, kettle, cups, tables, backs of chairs, sockets, cupboard handles, everything that you think, you know, the taps, if there's any taps, anything at all that other people are going to be touching.
Computers.
Oh, well.
I mean, in the old days, there used to be a stipulation that those computers, the keyboards and that were cleaned, you know, rigidly. And we had the responsibility to make sure they were kept clean. Everything, the mouse, in the old days of the mouse.
Yeah, the mouse.
You know, we had to disinfect all that, because if someone's dirty and they're sitting on the keyboard, and somebody's going to be behind them and they're dirty, and so it goes on.
Yeah.
You know, a week later you've got a flipping hive of germs there. Sorry, Trey, go on.
Yeah, so when you leave the room, say for instance you go back down to the toilet, when you come back, you wipe your hands again with, you know, hand wipes or sanitary liquid and gel. When you go to have lunch before you eat, you do the same again. If you can't wash your hands, at least wipe them. If you go out of the room to have your lunch, you come back, you clean your hands again. So it's regularly cleaning of hands, really, when you're in that room.
And some people would say, oh God, I can't be bothered with that. But then if you catch the virus and you're unwell, then I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know, also as well, if you catch it and you're a carrier and you pass it on to somebody else, then you've made somebody else ill. Yeah. So I don't think it is. I mean, I carry them regularly. You know, I mean, I regularly clean the telephone, the mobile phone, the keyboard. It's been said that I'm far too pernickety, but I don't want to be exposed to somebody else's germs. I'm definitely not unwell. Right, Nigel, thanks, Trey. What kind of protocol would you put in place, Nigel, for users of a community building that would keep them safe and yourself safe? What other things can you think of? I mentioned some earlier.
The hand wipes and stuff, and the gels hands, and the wipes, the cleaning services and stuff.
But what about people when they come in? We've talked about the fundamentals of keeping things clean and etc. What about the other person's behaviour? Come in and they aren't feeling so well. The things that they're doing. How can you keep yourself safe from that? I mean, you've heard Trey say to Lucy that Lucy's got a cold. I mean, you know, really,
Wash your hands, yeah.
really, you shouldn't be in when
No,
you've got a cold
No.
because you know you can pass it to somebody else. But a cold isn't often debilitating. Flu is. Now, I remember in the old days there was stipulation where if you had a cold, you made sure that you did exactly what we've talked about before, and you didn't cough over people, you didn't sneeze over people, etc.
Drink plenty of liquids.
Well, yeah, if you've got a cold, yeah. But people also have a responsibility themselves to make sure that they told the person, whoa, don't be flipping coughing over there, use a handkerchief, you know? So that's, I think, a given anyway, really.
Yeah.
So what else, Nigel, in relation to people's behaviour, would you tell them if what they were doing? I mentioned one earlier, well, I mentioned a few earlier. If someone's not well and they've come in, the kind of things they're doing that could spread the virus.
Don't come in or something. I'd forgotten.
No, what are they doing that could spread the virus?
Sneezing.
Sneezing. So if someone sneezes and they've got a cold, and you know, most people tend to go to work when they've got a cold because unfortunately employers aren't that understanding. Oh, it's only a cold.
Yeah.
You know, what are you doing not coming in?
Yeah.
But that's a fast way of spreading the cold right round the office. But if someone's sneezing, Nigel, what should they be doing and what should they not be doing?
Well, there shouldn't be in that area, in that place where there's come in.
If you sneeze, you've got a cold and you sneeze.
Use hankies.
Right, but how should you sneeze?
Not in your hands.
Not in your hands, and you know,
on your arm.
If you can,
hiding you.
but also as well, and you know, most people tend to do. I do anyway because that's the way I was brought up. You tend to be taught to do that.
Yeah.
And you see people doing that. It's normally conditioned from when they were younger, and that's to stop that jet of sputum coming at somebody else, and they end up with the same problem. What about the cough? As he coughs.
Just cover your mouth up.
Same again?
Yeah, same again, yeah.
Oh, right.
Just cover your mouth up, yeah, when you're coughing.
Yeah, what about the area where the person's sitting when they've got a cold? And again, Trey's touched on this going back some time, and I'm quite strict on that as well. If someone's sitting at your table and they've got a cold, what should they be doing in that area?
Take a day off.
Take a day off, yeah. That would be probably the best thing. But we don't live in an ideal world, and most people get sent out. Definitely within the kind of services we work in, you know, people, it'll be all right, you know, get them out.
Yeah, and I think with flus and definitely with this virus, services should be outside, community place should be sending them back and say, no, I'm sorry, you can't stay here with those symptoms. I'm going to have to be more vigilant, I feel.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because, you know, people were often sent out unwell and they probably didn't want to get out of bed, but they would, you know, because it's easier for the service to get rid of them. So, Trey's pretty much answered your question, Nigel.
Yeah.
If someone's got a cold, that area, they're sneezing onto it and they're touching it, it's their responsibility to keep it clean, but also your responsibility to make them aware of the fact they've got to keep it clean. So if you're sitting next to them, and you don't tell them, and then you maybe catch the table with your hand or whatever, it's going to spread, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got a responsibility. Gary, your kind of protocol, because you're going to go back to Wedgwood Road, and obviously don't mention me and Trey's name because you'll be in the doghouse. Tell us what to do. We know what to do. Gary, so what protocol would you put in place at your home?
I call it the fire sign.
A sign, yeah,
Yeah.
which I think I've noticed now. Some people are actually putting them
I
up.
don't know, I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah, I have a couple of places. I can't remember where, but probably Carlisle, I think it was. Didn't work, did it? Because 2 people caught it. Well, no. Obviously, they came from Italy, so. So, what would you put in place? Obviously, information on the door or doors.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about personal responsibility, Gary? We mentioned loads of them. You know, what about your staff team? What's their responsibility when they're working with you in relation to this?
Making sure that I'm safe. Well,
Yep. And how can they keep you safe? Again, we've discussed a lot of this earlier. What can they do or not do that will keep you safe?
have bath or shower.
Yep. Keep clean.
Yeah, keep clean. Yeah. Wash hands.
Yep. Wash the hands. And again, we touched on that earlier, didn't we, about the protocol?
Yeah.
Yep. What else, Gary? What about if they're in your room? Sorry, your flat.
I wash my hands.
Yeah. Do you make sure that they wash their hands?
Yeah.
Now, I know that's going to upset quite a few people, and I don't care. But if they don't want to keep their hands clean, that's entirely up to them.
Oh, yeah.
But if they come into your flat,
Aye, yeah.
that's your responsibility then, and your right to make sure that they're clean.
Aye, yeah.
Ask the question, have you washed your hands?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, of course I wash my hands, you know, and if they get arsey about it,
Oh, yeah.
that's not your problem.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't washed your hands, can you wash your hands please before you come in?
Aye, yeah, yeah.
Yeah? I mean,
Aye, yeah.
that's something I put in place years
Yes,
ago.
yeah.
It upset a lot of people, I don't care. You know, so I'm not going to have your germs, mate. And you're in my domain, so if you're not gonna, we'll bugger off.
Well, it's the first thing I do when I turn up at Nigel's, isn't it?
Oh,
The first thing I do when I turn up at Nigel's, Gary, because I've been on public transport,
Aye,
I go
yeah.
right to the bathroom and I wash my hands.
Aye, yeah, yeah.
Because obviously I'm taking that into Nigel's
Aye,
environment.
yeah.
Yeah, and you know it's your right to have that, Gary.
Aye, yeah.
What about touching surfaces in your flat? You know, what about say that someone's helping you on the computer? What responsibility have you got if they're going to be using your keyboard? When was the last time your keyboard was given some kind of clean?
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
What?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Would you say that's enough?
If you use the computer log, Gary, it needs to be more regular
Aye,
than that.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I do mine every week.
Aye,
Sometimes in between, all depends me
Yeah.
on the actual keyboard. So obviously, if you don't keep it clean and someone's using that keyboard, they can get infected and vice versa.
yeah. Aye, yeah.
Yeah. You can suggest as well that really now in flats such as the one that Guy's living in, they should actually have the what's it called, sanitisation liquid.
Yeah,
So they use it before and after.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So before they go in your flat, they'll put the stuff on their hands.
Aye, yeah.
Obviously after they wash their hands. And,
Aye.
I mean, if and it's very hard to cover all this,
Yeah,
but even if they'll put the antibacterial on before they go in your flat, that's still some
it is,
way forward.
Aye.
It might be you're not able to wash their hands at that time,
Aye,
so
yeah.
they'll put the antibacterial on. And
Oh,
they did, I mean, I don't know why they ran out, but this stuff was in abundance at one time.
because of the coronavirus.
Oh right, sorry, I thought you meant they've
No,
now tried
they've-
to.
no, it's because people have sort of like thinking about this.
Right.
And, there's a news thing. There was like a report online about Amazon fast running out of it,
Yeah,
and that's because people are thinking about getting wipes and sanitary gels and that. I mean, I looked at Tesco's this morning and struggled. I couldn't find anything.
yeah. Well, they'll have to start stocking up manufacturing a bit quicker, won't they? Really?
Yeah.
So that's something, Gary, that would help to keep you safe. So, what can the staff team do about the area that they move around in, Gary? Would they have to do the same thing as you do in your flat? Because you go in the garden room quite a bit. Well, you do when you want to go in with people.
Aye,
that,
yeah.
yeah. So what can they do then in that environment?
Wash hands.
Yeah.
Wash the pots up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Surfaces.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what about the settees and that they sit on in the garden room? Are they clean? Do Do you know if they're clean? Do people eat food on the settees?
I do.
And do you know how often them settees are cleaned?
I don't know.
Settees, one of them's leather, which I clean regularly anyway. If there's a fabric settee, I do the same with the carpet as well. On maybe a monthly basis, I'll give it a clean with my carpet cleaner and put some stuff in, some disinfectant. Because again, if people are sitting and eating, Gary, and they're rubbing it on the chair or they're coughing and you haven't seen people doing that, and then they do it on the chair. You know, if you go in the garden room to sit with someone and you put your hand down there, you're going to get it as well. So really, there should be vigilance in. There used to be, but it's got a bit kind of slack now. But then nobody's policing it, are they? So, they'll have to now, though, won't they? Was that everybody?
I don't know. Lucy?
Lucy wasn't certain, and she was going to listen in about what we were doing. But we'll guide you, Lucy, anyway. Yeah? I'm just going to read out now, just in case people don't get a chance to find out about these guidelines. Excuse me. We touched on some of these before, but I'll read them out anyway, just to reaffirm what we've talked about. These are things you should do. Thank you. Wash your hands with soap and water often, and do this for at least 20 seconds. Now, in an ideal world, you're not really going to be on a stopwatch, but enough to get it clean. Yeah? Okay, always wash your hands when you get home or into work. Now, that's the same if you come to a session, if you go to college or somewhere like that. And I'm sure Lakes College will be up on all that, because they used to be quite strict over things like that. And would have to be anyway. Just as your service has to be as well, Gary. Equally as vigilant. Use hand sanitizer gel if soap and water are not available. So I mentioned that before, Gary. You know, if someone has got some sanitizer gel and they haven't had a chance to wash their hands, you can stipulate they actually put the gel on. Cover your mouth and nose with a tissue or your sleeve, not your hands, when you cough or sneeze. And if you notice that people are not doing that within your environment, either remove yourself from it or tell that person to be more careful. They might not be very happy about that, but it keeps you safe and other people. Put your tissues in the bin straight away and wash your hands afterwards. Yeah? Try to avoid close contact with people who are unwell. So if someone's got a cold, don't be giving them a kiss. Yeah? Even if they force you into it. A bit like Pepe Le Pew. Don't. Get off me. There might be some more in there, but this is what they've said. Don't. This is what you shouldn't do. Do not touch your eyes, nose or mouth if your hands are not clean. And we are assuming that you've done that, kept up to speed with that. That's the only don't we've got on there. Yes,
there isn't a great deal on there at the minute.
But we've touched on quite a lot of things that you don't do. Do you need to avoid public places?
You can't, can you?
I think it's hard to be able to do that at the minute.
It is.
It's difficult.
It is difficult.
You know, a lot of people haven't got the virus, well, hopefully, and they can't go to work, you know, they need to work, and employers aren't that understanding. Some employers are saying don't come into work if you've got a virus, but then that's giving people a chance to stay off work, but they haven't actually got a virus. So now employers are asking for proof of that, which of course you should anyway, shouldn't you? It's a difficult one, but I think if you know the area is prevalent with the virus and you've heard about a lot of cases, then don't go out as much, you know, kind of stop in a bit more. And if you do go out more, make sure you adhere to what we said about before. You're on the bus, avoid people who are coughing and sneezing. If you touch the seats, make sure you disinfect your hands as soon as you can. Carry some sanitizer with you or the wipes, etc. And you get off the bus, and most people that step off the bus always hold the pole. Again, that's another place for germs. So get off that bus, get your wipes out and get your hands disinfected. So most people can continue to go to work, school and other public places. That's what they've said anyway. You only need to stay away from public places, or what they call self-isolate.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a new phrase. If advised to by the 111, that was 3 ones, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Online coronavirus service or a medical professional. So if your doctor's said, you've got it, stay away from everybody else. Yeah? Stop at the house and watch a box set
ah, yeah.
about the coronavirus.
For 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks. Because it's a new illness, they don't know exactly how it spreads from person to person
Oh, yeah.
as yet. So all these things we talked about before, although it's good, they don't know yet how it's spread, and that's something that's going to
Well,
be...
I don't think this has been updated recently, because yesterday there was, after that, what do they call the government meeting they had?
I don't know.
They had a government meeting yesterday, and they were saying on the news there was more information, but that hasn't been updated. And touch and coughing
Right.
is definitely two of the things they said is how it's spread, touching surfaces, and that's why they keep on saying about washing your hands.
Right. The symptoms of the coronavirus. Anybody know what the symptoms are? Because,
I catch it from China.
well, we can't blame China, because Italy as well was a source, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It gets around, this virus. It's got lots of stickers on its suitcase. You need to know what the symptoms are,
Right,
so
yeah.
you can then tell your doctor. It might be just a normal cold you've got, but you need to know what they're saying here. And like Trace said, it hasn't been updated yet, but I'm assuming this is kind of right. What kind of symptoms would you have with the coronavirus? Do you know? If you don't know, say.
Stomachache.
Stomachache? No, it's just when you eat pancakes, that Gary.
Too many.
Too many pancakes.
Colds.
You have a cough,
Cough.
yeah, which I think is probably a big predictor of
Yeah.
virus, isn't it? A persistent cough. High temperature. Yeah? What's a high temperature? Yeah, you're
Very
burning
hot.
up,
Yeah, but
like when you got flu.
Oh.
And shortness of breath, which obviously for people like me with asthma is a no-brainer. Give me loads of inhalers. These symptoms do not necessarily mean you have the illness, but you'd still go to the doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Most people don't go to the doctor with a
Yeah,
cold.
they're advising people not to go to the doctor. They have to go through 111.
Oh, right.
You have
So I
to go
didn't
to the
say that.
doctor because it's
Spend it again.
yeah. So that's what they're advising now. Please don't go to the doctor. Don't even catch a taxi to the doctor, because then you're giving it to somebody else. If you've got it,
Yep.
you've got to contact them through 111.
Right. So will they talk you through, do you then? Because
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how they're going to work out getting tested, because they're saying they're going to put cubicles up, but you've got to get there. If you can't get there by
Right.
transport, it's...
probably do it by telephone or something.
So, or they said something about some people will be visiting homes to do testing.
Right.
But no, you haven't to go into the doctors, you've got to phone up.
So those symptoms aren't necessarily, or don't mean that you've got the virus, but whichever method they decide to, and obviously you can't go to the doctor now, although you should ring up your doctor
Oh,
if
yeah.
you feel as though you're not well, because it is similar to cold and flu. So you might just have a cold or flu, but actually you might also have the virus.
Yeah.
So someone needs to be. If you say to someone, guys, I've been coughing a bit and I'm a bit out of breath, and I've got a high temperature, right away ring the. What's it? 111.
It's 111, yeah.
Have you got any questions on that?
When will the virus go away?
That's a question I can't answer, Gary. But if we can all work together
Oh,
and
yeah.
be vigilant, in workplaces, community buildings, or whatever, then it should get it under control. Apparently, it's not as prevalent in Scotland because Nicola Sturgeon's the Prime Minister. Let's not go near there. Any questions, Nigel?
Can't think of any.
No questions?
No.
Gary? Any questions before we finish?
I wish it would go away quickly.
Well, the one thing you shouldn't be doing is stressing about it and worrying about it.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is that you can't afford to not face up to it because it's real, it's out there,
Yeah.
and everybody's open to it.
Oh, yeah.
Most people that are strong enough and healthy enough, they'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it says, I think 48 hours or something that...
I don't know. I mean, they're saying within a few days you've got a mild case, you'll recover. And most people it is mild. You know,
Yeah.
it's just...
So, you know, there's no need to start panicking, but you have to be vigilant
Oh, yeah.
and make sure that, you know, we get it under control. Because clearly it's spreading all over the place now. And even Scotland.
Well, they...
So there must
A few days ago, wasn't
There
it?
must be a tougher virus gone up there.
A bit like the midges, tough midges.
Yeah. The first one that went up there saw Nicola Sturgeon and turned back. Let's go to Wales, it's easier. So I think that is a wrap. Anything you want to sign off with, Trey?
No.
Because I'm now going to ask everybody a question and we'll see who's been listening.
Yeah.
Right now, so tell me the protocol for the coronavirus situation in this building when we use it. What's the protocol? Protocol as in what's the system that we follow, all of us? Talk me through it.
Just make sure that when you come in, you go wash your hands and stuff, and then make sure that you don't do your hands properly. And when if you're using a tissue or something, use it and then throw it away.
Yeah.
And make sure that you use hand wipes and stuff and the sanitizer if you've got one.
What about people that you're mixing with in the community building?
Well, just make them aware that that don't cough and sneeze everywhere. Make sure that you cover your mouth up and you cover your face up and that.
Yeah, so when you go for your lunch, you two, because I'm assuming you're going to go downstairs for your lunch,
Oh, yeah.
this should be uppermost in your mind, right?
Oh, yeah.
Are people coming in
Yeah.
that, you know, look a bit kind of raggedy or whatever? Have they washed their hands before they actually ate their food? You know, so be aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're surrounded by a few people who haven't done that and they don't seem to care, someone's just come out the toilet and they haven't sanitised, then remove yourself and bring it to where you feel safer. Yeah? I know it's a bit of a knee jerk to some people, but it keeps you safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, is the area that you're sitting at, has it been wiped prior to you sitting down? Now, I've never seen that table be disinfected.
Well, yeah,
Each time.
and I don't think it's unreasonable to ask if it's been cleaned before you sit down. Really, I mean, I don't think that is unreasonable to ask.
No.
In a community place.
It's responsibility on everybody. Gary, what's your protocol? What's the protocol you've picked up that we need to be doing that you can transfer back to your own home?
Put signs up.
Yep, signs up.
Yeah.
And you know, we've got no control over that. That's down to the community building. But you know, if I ran it, that's the first thing I would do. You know, I mean, this thing's picked up now, isn't it? It's not just like the odd case.
No.
There's a lot go. I mean, Italy's flipping how many thousand now?
I don't know, actually.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
What else, Gary? When you're using this room, for instance?
Wash hands.
Yeah. Now, what about when you go to use the kettle?
Wash hands.
Yeah. And what about the kettle itself? Because you've washed your hands, but then you go to touch the kettle, and maybe Nigel hasn't washed his hands, and he's touched the kettle before you.
Oh,
We obviously need to carry stuff ourselves as well, don't we?
Well, yeah, that's we've got some stuff antibacterial, which I will do after the podcast is finished and go right through everything to clean it.
Yeah. So if you're going to use kettle, Gary, you know, I mean, it might be a bit off the top to some people, but actually it all goes to help this situation. You know, if you haven't got anything with you, just ask Trey or myself, and we'll give it a quick wipe. Yeah, with antibacterial.
Yeah.
Then just fire away.
Oh, yeah.
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 After you've washed your hands.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Yeah? Any more questions? Are we done? Right. I felt like an auctioneer there. Anybody else? Sold! Right, Trey. That's a wrap.